And minus all of my previous profane statements, we are now 100% operational.
Look at us go.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
The Lunsby Show with
T-Bone.
And chick brew.
God bless. All these years, just get it right one time.
What do you want from me?
40 years they've been trying. You couldn't fire somebody if they were horrible, doing a terrible job for the veterans. And now you can say, you're fired.
Okay. No one listens to radio.
And now for a quick disclaimer.
The Lunsby Show with
T-Bone
And chick brew.
is brought to you by nobody. We have no sponsors.
The show is still rated G.
For Gloria.
Hello, hi, my friend. How are you? I apologize for everything you had to listen to while I was trying to get things right.
I mean, we were all here cheering for you. We had three fans.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, T-Bone, from the Lunsby Show with T-Bone and Chick Brew. I am T-Bone. That is my friend Chick Brew. She lives in southern Spain. I live in central Pennsylvania. We get together once a week and we talk about things. I gotta tell you, I know it's late at night where you are because you're a busy person and I want to know more about it. But we have a special guest this week. Now, the special guest that we have this week isn't going to be with us until Tuesday. But Tuesday night, I'm going to have the winner of Harrisburg's Hilarious with us on the show.
So wait, a townie one.
Yes, a freaking townie.
There we go.
Actually, the top four. I'm lucky enough to know who the fourth was, even though the fourth didn't get announced. But the top three were all townies. It was a great year for the Harrisburg Hilarious Competition, and in this episode, we will be featuring the winner, but he will not be here now. I wanted him to be here now, but that didn't work out. So we're gonna record that separately, and then we're gonna bring him back in, and it's gonna make total sense when we're all done with it. My friend.
Yeah.
Rarely do you send me notes to remind you of anything, but the note you sent me this week, it hits home. Now, I don't know if you know, I lost a dear friend in Extortion 17. John Duangdara and his MWD Bart, he was my sailor, and I love that kid to death. He was such an amazing guy. So when you said be sure to bring up Extortion 17, I didn't know if I wanted to do that because even 15 years later, it's still. If for those of you who don't know, Extortion 17 was a mission in Afghanistan where the Quick Reaction Force was sent to respond, and they got taken out, and it was the most dangerous day or the most deadly day in naval special warfare. In the history of naval special warfare, we lost more operators on that day than any other day in any other conflict ever. So why, my friend, did you want me to bring up Extortion 17?
So our EOD Mobile Unit 8 team put together a beautiful memorial.
Really?
So on that day, 31 humans and one dog.
Bart.
So at about 2 p.m. on Thursday, a friend of mine said, "Hey, we're doing a memorial ruck. Do you want to do it?" I said, "What?" I haven't hydrated. I haven't eaten. I don't have shoes.
I am not prepared for a ruck.
Send me the info. But when asked initially, a little hesitant, and then by the time I got the information, I was thinking, okay, what do I need to put in my bag? Ill prepared, still got 20 of the miles in. The guys that did it, though, they made all 31 miles. Bart was not forgotten. They did 1 mile barefoot on the turf field because dogs don't wear shoes. They read every 3 miles we stopped and we read 3 eulogies written by the family and friends of each of those fallen service members with red lights on. It was one of the most beautiful memorials I've ever participated in.
I like that. Having a hard time keeping it together right now. But that extra mile for Bart, that's pretty freaking cool. Good job. I thought they were EOD Mobile Unit 8.
Yeah.
You said 18.
No, I said 8.
Pretty sure you said 18.
Play it back.
I can have the court reporter play back to you what you said.
Play it back. Mobile
Yeah.
Unit 8.
EOD Mobile Unit 8. Guys, outstanding job. If
They organized it. I think about 60 people started out and about 30 finished.
That's rough, man. 31 miles is no joke. I don't like, well, I didn't like in my athletic days, I didn't like doing anything over 26. 26.2. I hated the .2 part. But to do 32 miles, God bless you guys, man. That was his sister. I don't even think she knows about this. It's so funny in the weirdest kind of funny way. A couple of years ago, my friend Howie, I love Howie to death. Howie was a dog handler. As a matter of fact, Howie was the kennel master where John, his nickname was Jet Li, obviously, because he's an Asian guy and every Asian guy is Jet Li. No, that's not true. John was a straight stick. In other words, he was a law enforcement kind of guy. And I wanted him to stay a law enforcement kind of guy, but he loved the puppies. And the puppies was where he wanted to be. So he wanted to be an MWD handler. And I'm like, no, you're a straight stick. You're a good straight stick. Don't be one of those weirdos. And Howie was in charge of the kennel, and Agricoli was the kennel LPO, and they suckered him in. They got his attention. They drew him right on in, and then he went down the MWD career path. He did all the picking up poo that you have to do. So this is how it works. You come into the military, you're given a job, and John's job was to be a cop. But John didn't want to be just a cop. He wanted to be a cop with an additional tool. He wanted to be an MWD handler because he loved the puppies. And the only way you can make that transition from being one to being another is you have to, you got to clean up all the poop. That's how you get the signatures that you need to make the transition that you want to make. You got to be the guy that volunteers to clean up all the poop and wash down all the kennels. And John did that, and we sent him to MWD school there in San Antonio, and then he went on to do great things. One of the things that trips me out about this, and I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about it because it does still affect me. I really did love this kid. One of the things that, or what the was I going to go? I'm so scatterbrained today. It's been a weird day.
He went to San Antonio.
Yes.
We sent him off.
Yes.
He did great things.
He did great things. I think somewhere along the lines there, I was talking about Howie.
Yep.
So Howie was his kennel master. I love Howie. Howie runs dogs for right now. In other words, he grabs these prison dogs. It's crazy. This pipeline that they have for these dogs that go into they're comfort animals for prisoners that are in an pipeline to sniff out. They're really cool dogs, and Howie trains them, and that's really cool. But Howie and Agricoli, they were in the kennel there in Sigonella, and they did a great job of making the dog handling program seem a lot more exciting than just picking up poo. And John leaves us, and he goes. So Howie is visiting Arlington National Cemetery, where John's buried, and goes to visit John's final resting place. And his sister's there. They decide to FaceTime me while they are there, and I'm just overwhelmed at the fact that John is his final resting place, and Howie, and then his sister, who doesn't know me from Adam. I'm talking way more about this than I want to. His sister, I posted something up, whatever it was, and I mentioned John. And she's like, yes, that was my brother. I'm like, yeah, I know that was your brother. I remember you. And somewhere along this conversation, I just want to say, it's so strange that there are so few pictures of him. And he came up in a time when pictures were a thing. And even in my collection, I don't have a lot of pictures of him, but I do have an awesome video of him. We used to do this thing called the Men in Black. We would have security forces, and they would be training, and then a bunch of us would suit up in these outfits where you could beat the snot out of us and we're not going to feel it. But they were 100% all black and the big hood and all the padding. And while they were conducting unarmed self-defense training, the men in black would arrive and start pounding people. We would just come down into the unarmed self-defense training class and start punching people in the face until they took it upon themselves to subdue the men in black. They were like 4 of us. And we would it was so fun. And I made several videos back in a time when videos were harder to do because not every phone had a video camera on it. But we would come down the stairs and we would start beating up the students, and collectively they would stop wanting to take that butt whooping and they would beat us down. And it was great. It was excellent training. It was real because we're hitting them with pads, of course, but they're also hitting and defeating us. And I have a great video of John. Well, maybe this is where the name Jet Li came from. Maybe it wasn't just a racist Asian Jet Li dude. Maybe it was, there's a video where the men in black come down and John handles it like Jet Li. Like he is taking out the men in black one at a time, just hoo-ah!
I'm gonna need you to send me that video.
I gotta find it. So what we did then, clearly 100% training. It is training. We are teaching young sailors that this very, very important lesson that when you get punched in the face, all the rules change.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's all, what do they say? It's all fun and games until you get punched in the face. So they needed to be effective in unarmed self-defense, they needed to be punched in the face. And that's what the men in black did. We came down and we put realness into the training scenario in a safe way, in the safest way possible. One of the MIBs was my friend Josh Gooch. And I think you met Josh. He ended up retiring as a senior chief, but I think you met him when he was flying through, because either you two were on the same flight or we just happened to be in the same area at the same time. But he flew through Rota, and like I would do with anybody, I spent some time with him. But he was one of the MIBs as well. And again, I was going somewhere with that, and I lost it. I have been out way too late, too many weekends in a row. That's what this comes down to.
You've been out past your bedtime.
So many times past my bedtime. But to the dudes at EOD, and occasionally, and the ladies. To the dudes and the ladies. And why do I say that? Because our friend Karen, her husband Dan Lamb, he just retired, and I saw a great picture of him.
Beautiful photo.
Yeah, giving her the flag, and she's a hottie. It's something about senior chief women that I just love.
You love senior chief women.
Yeah, so Karen's sitting there, and Dan presents her with the retirement flag, as I did with my senior chief lady, and I'm so happy for them. But so to the men and women of EOD Mobile Unit 8, excellent job. Thank you so much for remembering all of our fallen, and especially my friend and his puppy. And now it's your turn to speak.
Okay, so also this week, nailed it. I am going to be starting my journey to America.
What? Are you coming back to Harrisburg?
No, I'm going all the way to San Diego.
¿Por qué ese?
My mentor, Master Chief Flynn, is retiring.
What is Master Chief Flynn's first name?
Misty.
Misty. That is not the right name for a Master Chief Petty Officer in the United States Navy. That's wrong. That's not right. You don't get Misties.
It's actually perfect because, like some people, you can yell at me all day, right? Nothing. I'm a child of the 80s. People yell and I just, But
I even tried to do the disappointed thing with you, and that doesn't work either.
But disappointed dad? Always going to disappoint dad. Ask my father. It's fine. Bounces off me. But disappointed mom cuts.
Really?
And Misty is really good at the disappointed mom, and so she got me in check many a times. But she's retiring. flying out there on Wednesday. Mom and Dad are coming out.
What?
Yep.
Oh, there's an alternate reason, because Tommy's in California.
We are planning on seeing him for lunch.
Well,
But
San
he's not in San Diego.
Yeah.
He's in Sacramento. He's going to be doing his drill stuff, which will have him a little bit closer than the old Sacramento. So we're going to drive up and meet him.
What about Carrie and the kids?
Well, they're going to be at their house.
The old SOL. Oh, no. Everyone travels all the way to California, and you can't meet Carrie and the grandbabies?
I've done all of the traveling all the way to California.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that many days.
Y'all can make the rest of the distance. I know the feeling. I made it all the way back to America. You can make it the last couple of hours.
Yeah, and I just don't have the leave. I don't have the leave to stay longer. I wish I did, because I would love to.
Have you heard of this beautiful thing called LWAP?
No. I also can't, because I'm going on orders like the day after I get back. So
okay, well,
it's fine. I'm gonna
it's
get
still
to see
cool
more
that you
people
get to
than I've seen in
be
a long
mom,
time.
dad, and bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get to see Anida, who used to work at Liberty. I get to see my roommate from Bahrain, who is MCC Select.
I saw.
Yes.
Well, don't leave us with roommate from Bahrain, because I can't put that in the magic mirror. Say her name. Say her name.
Victoria, her married last name, but she's always going to be Kenny.
Victoria's all I needed. So, Jan, and your dad's name's Tom, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And Tom Jr. And then Misty. Yeah, Tommy. And then Misty.
Because he's the fourth.
He's the fourth?
Mm-hmm.
Who does your dad think he is? George Foreman?
He thinks he's the third.
You have a wonderful family, and I'm so glad that you're able to see them. I'm just saddened by the fact that you're going to fly over me. Because I was just listening to our episode today, our live episode that we did together right here in Enola, Pennsylvania. And that was a good time. That was a good time. Really want to do that more.
Just come on back to Spain.
I want to come back so bad. I'm talking to somebody at the show last night, and for whatever reason, the fact that I am really not... I lived overseas for so long that my Americanism... Yes, I am a veteran, and I was serving overseas as a military person, but in my adult life, I spent half of it in foreign countries. So when I did the last 13 overseas before coming back to the States, I kind of felt foreign. I felt like a foreigner. I didn't understand the America that everyone else has grown to know and love. I was a Spanish, and I obviously this person doesn't listen to the show, or he'd already know this, but I spent 10 years in Spain, and before that I was 18 months in Korea, and then I was in Jacksonville, and before that I was in Italy, and I lived in Italy for 5 years, and I really loved Italy. I really did. But when people ask me, where would you go if you could go back to be in any of those places, where would you be? I feel guilty when I say Spain.
Why?
Because of my connection to Italy, I wanted to be Italy, and I did love living in Italy, and I loved living in Korea. That was an amazing time for me as well. But I got to be honest, man. Spain was the jewel. It was really, really good. Everything was
because you
tranquilo.
met me, you were happily married. You had the best time of your life for sure.
I do admit that our friendship has... So, I've had friends throughout my life, people that I would call my best friend. I've had them throughout my life. But as with all relationships, they eventually come to a head, I guess you would say. My best friend before you, I would have said was Big Baby. I would say Big Baby was my best friend. We spent so many times together, and I love that man, and I still love that man. But with time, our connection has faded in that he has his life and I have my life, and we're not together nearly as much as we used to. You, my friend, I have been with for so long.
We're working on a decade.
It is crazy how long we have been together. It's got to be more than that. It has to be more than that.
We started a show, in 2015? 2014, 2015?
I think 2014 is about right. And that would make sense because we're on season 14, but not all of our seasons were based on calendar years. All of our sometimes I'm taking a month off. Okay, we'll start a new season when you come back. We did that kind of thing. So not all of our seasons are 52 weeks long, but we're 14 seasons in and probably 12 years into this relationship that we have together, which is pretty awesome. And I like it in that we never smother each other.
No, I think it's but that's kind of the thing, right? And I think with modern friendships, it's very easy to overstep the line of over communicating because you can communicate so freely. But also with distance and without repetition and care for a friendship, it's very easy for that friendship to deteriorate.
Oh, definitely. We as with all of my friendships, we could have been estranged a long time ago. The rule that I have is the 2-week rule. Whenever you transfer from a location, whenever you're a military person and you transfer from one location to another location, you get 2 weeks. 2 weeks of people remembering how cool you were, how fun you were. 2 weeks of memories. But after 2 weeks, it dramatically starts to fade. And 3 weeks after you transfer, people will forget you and will not remember you.
Your name has been fully removed from the duty cycle and you are not answering phone calls.
It's crazy how accurate that is in all of the relationships that I've had over the years. But the other thing, specifically to the military, maybe civilians do this, I don't know, because I wouldn't have considered myself a civilian for an exceptionally long period of time. But if we pick up the phone and call, for whatever reason, it's like we never separated. You remember Ed Martinez?
Yeah.
Ed Martinez and his beautiful wife, Maria. Ed's a big honcho. He's a big honcho in the sky, and I'm not sure if that's a Spanish word or not, but if it is, it's most appropriate for my amigo, the head honcho. Something came out, a big Navy message came out and said, anyway, that's what the message said. And at the very bottom, it said, "You got any questions? Contact Ed Martinez." Now, the message that came out was a little bit controversial. So immediately I reached out to my friend and I sent him a little message. I'm like, ha, you have no idea what you just stepped into. This is crazy. And he's like, yeah, I know. I was like, look, dude, give me a call when you get a chance. And we did, and we talked, and it was great. And it was just like we were just working together yesterday. It was old times reconnected so perfectly that 2 weeks after you transfer, everybody might forget you, but the moment you call one of them up, it's like it was yesterday.
Just like, yeah. It's so funny, speaking about poor Ed Martinez being at the contact us point in his career, the worst spot to be at. And you think about how many times when you were younger, further down the pole there, and something would happen and you're like, oh man, that sucks. I'm so glad I'm not the person attached to that. And at a certain point you get important enough to be the person and you're like, all those years I was right. This sucks.
The funniest part about this is the message has his contact information on it. And the contact information is his personal cell phone. He's
no one makes enough money for that to be the case.
He's taking calls left and right on his personal cell phone about this message that came out that had, let's just say, a little ambiguity. I don't know how I'm going to slip the winner of Harrisburg's Hilarious Competition into this when we're at this timeline, but I'm going to do my best. Let's move along.
The book of everything.
One of everything.
One of everything.
One of everything.
The book of everything.
One of everything. The book of everything.
Every week we go into the book of everything and we try to give you a strange, unusual, interesting fact. We share it with you under this premise that you, the listener, find a way to use it in your dichotomy this week. And this is a good one. I think this is one you can slip into your conversation this week. Cranberries bounce when ripe. Another name for them is bounce berries.
Bounce berries.
And one that bounces 7 times is in the perfect condition to eat. There you go. That is your fact from the book of everything this week. Try to put it into one of your conversations. Cranberries bounce when ripe. And another word for cranberry is bounce berry. One that
I have
bounces.
been slipping in elephant chin facts for years now, so this cranberry's got to be a lot easier.
One that bounces 7 times is in perfect condition to be eaten. Moving right along. It's time to talk about cooking.
And tonight proved one thing. You know, all.
Here's a question.
What are you doing?
I thought I could get a chip in before I got busted. I did not.
That's what she said. Anyways.
Go ahead, you do the thing.
Oh no, now I'm sitting here trying to think if I've cooked anything. Have I cooked anything? What day are we on?
You do the intro
but I was in Naples last week and I ate all the food and then now I came back and I've not been eating as much food because I ate all the food the week prior. You are a snacky boy today.
The salt is better than the water. All right, I'll do it since you can't do it for me. Since you can't cover town for me, I'll do it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the segment where we talk about food. She is a chef. She presents food. But a rank amateur, I eat the food. She's a foodie. I'm a fatty. This is the segment where we talk about food. And what I thought, I don't want anybody to feel a certain way whenever I say I like a listener. I don't want anybody getting jealous. I don't want anybody thinking like, oh, he likes that listener. Yeah, I do. But I also like you as a listener. And one of my favorite listeners is the incomparable Damien, who was one of the finalists in the Harrisburg Hilarious Competition. Along with him, Shawn, the co-host of the Attempted Delivery podcast. Both of them were in the finals. Both of them did a great job. Shawn came in third, and Damien did not. Do you know why Damien didn't? Because he didn't listen to me. When Tony
Did he
speaks,
get disqualified?
Yeah, he got disqualified. He was using steroids. No,
I don't know the rules.
When Tony speaks, people should listen. And he came to me early on and he said, I'm going to use my notes. And I was like, you don't need to use your notes. You know your material. You go up there and you believe in yourself. You can do this. I gave him the inspirational pep talk that he needed to hear. But he wanted that security blanket. He wanted to have a cheat sheet next to him just in case he forgot where he was in his 10-minute set. And
10 minutes is a long time.
True, but if you've practiced and you know what you're doing, 10 minutes really isn't that long of a time. And I firmly believe that he, without using because they take away points. If you're using notes, they're going to take away points. He did fresh material every portion of the competition. Those were massive points in his favor, but using notes took away from his total score and affected the fact whether he was in the top 3 or not.
So it was pretty close.
It was very. So the way it worked out, we had 9 people in the end. Normally we only have 8, but on the last night of the semifinals, we had a tie. And because as I always say, this is one of the fairest competitions I've ever seen. Their rule is, if we have a tie, they both go forward. So instead of 8, we had 9. And they all did great. They all did amazing. They're all comic names that you may hear in the future on a much bigger scale. But with the Damian and Shawn back and forth, the co-host of Attempted Delivery, they both did very well. But the thing that held Damien back, that cost him some points, was he used his notes and he didn't listen to me when I said, believe in yourself. You're going to be fine. He comes to me during the show and says, remind me to talk to you about something after the show. And then after the show, I said, hey, what's the thing you wanted to remind me of? And he suggested a crossover type thing where they have their podcast and we have our podcast. And he had an idea. Basically, what he really had was a question for you. And because you are our resident chef, I think this is a great question for you. And I thought the best way to amalgamate his idea with our shows was to simply ask you the question as part of the question of the week. So this is what we talked about. Don't answer it now, because it's going to be our question of the week for the next week. What was your biggest food fail? That is going to be our question of the week. You went to cook something and you did not do it well. What is your biggest food fail? And what has worked well for us over the last couple of weeks is we've asked everybody to provide us with, don't tell us. Give us an image, give us an idea, give us an example, and let us try to figure it out. That has been the fun way of doing it.
It is fun.
It is. Have you cooked anything recent?
Not anything exciting. I've done a lot of meal prep. I have a lot of travel coming up, and I'm trying to stay svelte, if you will. I made a lot of breakfast burritos for the freezer, loaded it up.
I was served a breakfast burrito recently.
You what?
I was, and it was delightful.
Go on. What was it?
No. It was a breakfast burrito. She had some tortillas lying around and some eggs and some other ingredients, and she cooked it all up and gave it to me and made me a happy boy.
Yes. I don't really like eggs, but...
You do not like eggs. That's funny. The episode I was listening to was you talking bad about eggs.
Just that. But breakfast burritos are like, I mean, you kind of can't argue with them, right? They're super easy to make. I meal prep them. I can make a whole bunch at once and put them in the freezer, individually wrapped. I know what's in them. They're super cheap if you make them.
What is the deal with you and eggs? What is it that you don't like eggs? Is it the yolk? Is it the
taste? So gross.
So egg whites. What are your thoughts on egg whites?
Nope.
Just in general, you don't like eggs.
Mm-mm.
What did your father do to you?
I don't like eggs.
I don't like onions.
You don't like what?
I don't like onions. I've never liked onions. And
I thought you were Italian-ish.
Yeah. Sure, Italian-ish. That works. I don't like onions. And I learned this at a really young age. Like, it's ridiculous the kind of memories that I have that you're not supposed to have. Anyway, I'm very, very young. I'm maybe 4 years old, 3 or 4 years old. Either they were his leftovers or he made me breakfast. But inside the eggs that he made me were onions, and I did not like them. I did not like them, Sam I am. And me not liking the onions really made him mad. And he shoved my face into the food. And, not all the memories are great memories, but this is a memory. This is what happened. I didn't like the taste of onions. And then I didn't like the fact that he was forcibly making me to eat the onions. So from that day forth, I've never liked onions. And when I tell my lovely wife I don't like onions, you think she'd understand, because we both speak the same language. But no, she is habitually trying to sneak onions into my life. But they're the cooked ones. You like the... I don't. No, I don't like them. Stop doing that. I don't. But it's a holy trinity. Stop it. I don't want freaking onions in my mouth hole, period.
So you have an onion memory where I have a meatloaf memory.
Your dad did that to you with meatloaf?
No, it wasn't. It was my mom, and it wasn't that aggressive. It was not that aggressive.
First of all,
being a child of the 80s, there was you eat the food that is before you.
Yeah.
I don't like meatloaf.
There is something so wrong with you. I don't know how to have someone committed.
What is with that name? That name is disgusting.
I don't know how to have someone committed because of their food preferences, but
that name is disgusting.
You not liking chicken.
Yeah.
Not liking eggs.
take an egg,
Not
mix it with
liking
beef,
meatloaf.
and put ketchup on top of it? What? No, I'm sorry.
That ketchup, Chef Christina, is drizzled, okay? It's not put on
Flattered.
top of the loaf of meat. It is drizzled and baked in. And that's a flavory tomato sauce you're talking about there. I don't
Everything
know
you just
if we
said.
can continue to be friends knowing that you don't like the loaf of meat.
Who thought, oh, and we should name it meatloaf?
Do you not like it because it's called meatloaf? Would you prefer
No, I
it
don't
be
like
called
it 'cause
hamburger
it's
bread?
disgusting. It's disgusting.
What is wrong with you? There's nothing disgusting about meatloaf.
Everything about it? Bread,
Nothing.
eggs, beef. What?
Yes, yes.
What?
Sugar and spice and everything nice. If there's anybody in this audience who can't stand meatloaf, stop listening to this show. I'm going to say that.
I gotta go bite.
You're
You never offered me an easy route.
technically you're not a part of the audience.
After we spent 40 hours talking about how beautiful our friendship was, we survived this long.
It was
And
the
on that
meatloaf.
day,
It was
our
the
friendship
meatloaf that
died.
ended it. I love meatloaf because I love meat and I love things shaped in a loaf form. I've never come across something in a loaf form that I didn't love. And if you give me meat in a loaf form, that's like two things I really enjoy.
Why?
And now, knowing
You
that
don't
it
have
is
onions in it?
knowing it is the bane of your existence, I love it even more. Your mother slaved over a hot stove and oven to make a loaf of meat for you. She sliced it up gingerly. She placed it on your plate, probably with some mashed potatoes, probably with some mixed vegetables. I'm sure what she provided you was amazing. And you looked at this mist-shaped hamburger patty and went, ew, I don't like that.
Yes. To the point where I made myself sick and we never had to eat it again. And I had to have been 3 because we lived in Hawaii and I distinctly remember her giving my brother a bath and her telling me not to get up from the table until the meatloaf was gone. I ate the meatloaf. I said, Mom, it made my tummy hurt. Blah. And then I think we all had to have a bath, if I remember correctly.
Your body hates you. If meatloaf can make you throw up, there was something else wrong with the meatloaf.
And I just didn't want to eat it.
Do you remember our question of the week from 2 weeks ago?
I don't even remember if I locked the door when I left work tonight.
Our question of the week from 2 weeks ago, and we forgot to do it last week, so that gave our listeners an extra week to get their answers in, was if your life was a movie, who is playing you? Now, as usual, don't answer until I get to you, okay? I want to get through the listeners' answers first and then inquire as to yours. Our friend John used John Candy. He used a great image of John Candy. It was fantastic. Our friend Bryan used who's the Star-Lord? Who's that guy? Chris.
Oh, Pratt?
Pratt? That sounds good. That sounds right.
Yeah, not the other one. The other one is...
I was going to say Chris Elliott, which I know is not close, even close.
No.
So Bryan thinks Chris
Wrong
Pratt.
again.
Our friend Ricky, I wish I wouldn't have seen Ricky on the side of the street. He goes with Danny McBride. And I've known Ricky a long time, and I think him being played by Danny McBride is perfect. Our friend Damian Robinson, he's got an image here, and if I can guess based on his baldness and judge, there was a show. It had Will Smith, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What was the dad's name?
Uncle Phil?
Uncle Phil. Damien thinks the actor who plays Uncle Phil would have done a really good job in playing him. And he's not wrong. Now, because that was done over 2 platforms. By the way, what did you think of last week's cover for the episode cover?
That was funny.
I thought I shared the question of the week on my page. And if I did, It's not showing up. So those were all the answers that I had. Oh my goodness, I got so many things. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing announcements for the Harrisburg Hilarious Competition. It gives me an opportunity to get on stage and be in front of a bunch of people. Last night, literally sold out the house. That was freaking awesome. So that was last week's question of the week. Now,
So who's playing you?
Now
playing you?
we ask who plays you. And don't give me the answer that you think you can give me and I'll just accept it because I sent you a picture of that particular person who would be playing you and she just turned 60. So that's not going to work.
No. So we have to switch it.
By the way,
because I always said I was going to play the younger version of Halle Berry. But if that's what she looks like at 60, I will be playing the older version of Halle Berry. She will be my daughter.
Look, I don't like to talk about women like they're objects, okay? But that 60-year-old woman, man,
Brother.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
60! She looks younger than me! Was it a filter?
I love my wife. I've said this many, many times. I will always preface anything I say about my wife with the statement that I love my wife. But every day, she becomes the oldest woman I've ever been with. And tomorrow,
And to her horror, you are the oldest man.
and tomorrow she will be the oldest woman I've ever been with. And I think she looks amazing. And I love looking at my wife. I do.
We both married up.
Yeah,
okay?
true story,
We know
true
who
story.
we are.
But when I see 60-year-old Halle Berry, I am mind blown. I believe way younger me would look at 60-year-old Halle Berry and go, yes, and yes. Here's something you may not know. She's a very farty person. It's the most unattractive thing about Halle Berry. She has done some interviews, and she just loves to rip them because she thinks it's hilarious. I don't find it hilarious, okay?
I think that makes me like her more. I'm not a farty person. Like, I don't necessarily like farting as a funny thing, but the fact that it's her kind of makes it more funny.
Not for me. It's the unfortunately it is the one
Probably
thing.
because it's like probably the most close to normal.
It is the one
if
thing.
If you get to look like that at 60, you have to have a stink butt. That's fair.
That's
fair.
Even
The
that
only
phrase
fair thing.
is making it worse. No.
It's not fair to be perfect. You can't be 60 and look like you're 25 and then be like, I also have never farted in my life.
I don't. No. It's natural. I get it. It's natural. But the fact that she went on shows and she discusses it, and to her, it was fun and hilarious. And no, it's not. No, be pretty, but be polite. Okay. Say, if you have gas, you have gas. Everyone has gas. But you don't go out of your way to share it with the world. And then you say little things like, excuse me. And that is proper. That's what a proper lady does. She doesn't just walk by and rip a couple to see if you're paying attention. She doesn't, what is the thing called when you walk by a group of people and you're
crop dust?
She doesn't crop dust. She doesn't crop dust a room and see if anyone notices. These are not polite things. These are not ladylike things. I don't care how fine you are, even at 60, you don't do that. And it's the only...
So you want to know something funny about retail?
Of course.
And this is in more than one store that I worked at in college, if the staff thinks you're stealing in the dressing rooms, generally we will find, most often, a dude to go stand outside the dressing room door and fart and gas you out. So if you've ever been in a dressing room and it gets pungent, they probably think you or someone else in there is stealing.
Yeah, probably a dude. as you rightly said. No one goes to the lady at the perfume counter is like, hey, you got one in the chamber? Because we think we got a shoplifter in dressing room number 1. Get your little tiny fart tootin' butt over here and bust one out in the ventilated doors. No one does that. They look to the big fat guy that's working and stock boy. Hey, Joey, you got one in the chamber? Of course I do. Well, then get your fat butt over here and bust one in front of the door. Okay, no problem.
I kind of wonder if they still do that. I wonder if that's still it's gotta be, I'm sure. There's people who I worked retail with that are still in retail, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's been many lawsuits about gassing someone out of a dressing room. Moving along, do you have any headlines for me?
Yeah, we got time.
I am doing the math in my head, and what I will most likely do is tape the episode with Harrisburg's hilarious winner, who I'm very proud that I haven't slipped up and said his name yet.
Yeah.
Huh?
I said, yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing good.
I will tape the interview with him on Tuesday and then find a way to put it in maybe the next episode. Because we're having a good time and we're right on time doing all the things that we do. So we're going to move on. We're going to finish it up and I will find a way to get that young man in. Here we go.
And now it is time for headlines from around the globe.
As a reminder, every week she goes into the ether and she finds 2 headlines for me. It is my job to mine those headlines for some type of entertainment value. All right, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try my best to make it entertaining, informational, or educational. I fail often. Today should be no different. Let's go with the first headline.
Rotten fish sauce that has long stunk up a small Canadian town is finally being removed.
Rotten fish sauce that has smelled up a small Canadian town has finally been removed. That makes me think that there's an issue, that there's something in this story that we're not being told, because rotten fish sauce is disposable. You just throw it away. But it's finally been removed from this little Canadian town. Makes me think it's on a much grander scale. Like there's a whole bunch of this rotten fish sauce in vats in the fish sauce making industry that went out of business because all their work went to China. So they got these giant vats of fish sauce that went south and they had no capabilities of removing it. But I've lived in coastal villages in Canada, and the air every day smells like fish sauce. Every day you get a wafting of the cod smell. You get, oh, look, there's got short crabs on the line, yeah? The Newfoundlanders speak a weird version of English. They really do. They do. It's so funny. So my dad was stationed in Newfoundland in 66 and 67. I was stationed there 30 years later. And it was like we were kindred spirits. Lord Thunder and Jesus by. We got along so well with the Newfoundlanders. It's a coastal city. It's a fish sauce making industry that went south with products still in vats of containers. I believe I solved the mystery. It's like a game of Clue. I figured it out. Am I right?
You're pretty close, actually. So this is in the town of St. Mary, which is in Newfoundland and Labrador.
I actually know St. Mary's very well.
Yep. So this company closed its doors over 20 years ago. So this might actually be the smell that you were smelling. It says about 110 tanks were left behind, each holding 3,000 gallons of fermented fish sauce when the Atlantic Seafood Company was abandoned. Everything inside fell to disrepair, and as the bacteria continued to do its thing on windy days, due to the windows broken out and the roof having ripped off in a storm.
You gotta bottle that stuff. That's gotta be like 200 proof. I'll take
Is
another
probably
of those.
some sorts.
I'll take another of those fish sauce martinis, please.
To accompany your meatloaf and eggs.
I guarantee you that is a delicacy in Japan. If you could give them some fermented fish
They'll
meat
distill it.
sauce juice, let's talk about St. Mary's, Newfoundland. So I lived on the Avalon Peninsula where Argentia was. But if you drove up the Avalon Peninsula all the way back to the mainland and then drove down the adjacent peninsula, at the bottom of that you would find St. Mary's. There is a book, I think it's called Standing into Danger. The worst naval disaster that wasn't enemy related during World War II was the grounding of the USS Truxton and the USS Pollux just off the coast of St. Mary's, Newfoundland. They were zigging and zagging to avoid German submarines, but they were doing it in horrendous conditions. And they ran aground and it was bad. A lot of sailors died, but the survivors, I got to meet them 50 years later. 50 years after it happened, I got to meet the survivors in St. Mary's at a ceremony in remembrance of the disaster. And they had great stories. Like the island in Newfoundland had no black people on it. So when all of these sailors climbed the really, really high cliffs and came ashore, they found a hay storage facility, and they got in there, and then one of the guys, a tiny little corpsman, he was an HM2 at the time of the crash, he had in his pocket his thing he called a Liberty Kit. And his Liberty Kit was a cigarette, a single Pall Mall non-filter cigarette, a Strike Anywhere match, and they were tied up inside what he called a prophylactic. Yes, inside a condom, he had a cigarette and a Strike Anywhere match. And everyone that survived this incident is alive because of the joke that he carried around in his pocket. To him, it was a joke. I got my Liberty patch. Look at me, I got my Liberty patch. I'm ready for liberty, I got my Liberty patch. He had a cigarette, a Strike Anywhere match inside a condom. When they find themselves on land, they're soaked with water, they're covered in oil, and they find this little hay shed. They make a fire using HM2's little Liberty Kit, and the smoke signals to the locals that there's something amiss, that something is wrong. There's fire in a place where there shouldn't be fire. So the locals come to the rescue of these sailors that are, again, soaking wet, covered in oil, and trying to fend off hypothermia with the little fire that they have built in the hay shed. The locals come to the rescue, and they immediately, they give the guys warm clothes, and they start cleaning off all the oil on them. But they had never seen a black person. And some of the black survivors that I met and I got to talk to, they really have a great way of telling the story on how they got all the oil off of them, but they kept scrubbing them because they thought there was still oil on them, and they kept scrubbing them harder and harder. And they finally had to say, no, this is my color. And they just didn't know. They had never seen it before. Yes, the Truxton, the Pollux, Standing into Danger, St. Mary's, Newfoundland, and stank aged fish sauce. Hey, do you have another headline for me?
I do. A book found bricked into a fireplace is returned to an Australian library 150 years overdue.
I wonder how much that cost. Why? Why do that? If that book has been written off for a century and a half, okay? No one's expecting to recover the overdue book fee. Number two, no one is expecting to ever see that book again. You know why they print so many books? Because things like this happen. But then again, do they? Read the first part of that headline again.
A book found bricked into a fireplace.
Who is bricking books into fireplaces. What book was so demonic that the owner said, no one can ever look at this book again. I am going to brick this book into my fireplace where no one will ever come across the one and only copy of this book from 150 years ago.
Antiquities of Athens.
Say again?
Antiquities of Athens.
That's the name of the book?
That's the name of the book. So they do talk about the library originally opened in 1872. This book was published in 1859, and it was number 506 in the library's original collection. They only had about 1,000 books back then. The late return fine would be $19,500 US or 28,000 or $19,500 US, 28,000 Australian dollars.
Boy, those Australians ain't got math figured out, do they?
Yeah.
So why is the book from Athens in an Australian library? There are so many questions.
Yeah. I mean, Antiquities of Athens. So someone, I wonder what else is bricked off of that. Do they have something good? And they were like, oh, we're going to display this on our fireplace, but we don't want anyone to know that it's worth anything. So we're going to hide the only proof of its value in the fireplace.
If I had to guess, there's probably a prophylactic with a cigarette and a strike anywhere match inside that heath.
Probably.
The earth.
Yep.
Just brick it all up. Oh my goodness. Why? Why did they run out of bricks? Why would you do that? Books do not make good construction material, especially in fireplaces.
I wonder if it was like a pack out, right? Like they're building it and someone was like reading it and they set it down. And then the guys came back the next day and they just started like putting the bricks in. Like, I'm going to say it was a pack out situation.
I kind of agree with that. I think you're right on that. Let me close out with this crazy detail from last week's episode. Last week's episode ran 1 hour and 3 minutes. I have been doing really well at keeping it at 1 hour. Now I do some magic behind the scenes to keep it at 3,600 seconds. But last week, when I programmed the speed change to bring us to 3,600 seconds, it did not do it. It could not figure out how to bring us exactly to 1 hour. So I was either 3 minutes over or 2 minutes under every time I tried. And by the fourth time, I'm like, oh, we're going over. No one cares. No one cares if we run over except me. I try to make a quality product that is 1 hour long every week, and I couldn't do it last week. So it went 1 hour and 3 minutes, and it's been beating the snot out of me ever since. I feel bad because of it. And now, at 1 hour and 6 minutes, I know that when we take out the silences and some of my flub ups, I like that. Here's another thing I like. I'm going to share this with you. Quick shout out to my friend Chris. And why am I shouting at my friend Chris? Because my friend Chris had to put his dog down. And I've never had more empathy. I've never had more empathy for the fact that someone loses their pet than I've had since I lost mine. So to my friend Chris, I love you, brother, and I know you're going through it, and I'm sorry that happened, and it had to be done, and you knew it was coming, but at the same time, God bless. I was going to say something.
Peace and love to Chris.
Yeah. I was going to say something, then I got distracted by Chris. It doesn't matter. I did the 3,600. I did that, and there was somewhere else I was going to go. Really scatterbrained today. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and wrap this up. Ladies and gentlemen, I remind you today, as I remind you every day, just be the best person that you can be. And if you were a great person today, well, be an even better person tomorrow.
And don't forget that you are loved.
Thank you for listening to T-Bone and Chick Brew. If you enjoyed that show, you should check out the Darrell McClain Show, independent media that won't reinforce tribalism. We have one planet and nobody's leaving, so let's reason together. You can find the Darrell McClain Show at the same place you actually listen to this show. Give it a shot.
If you made it this far,
don't think because you close your eyes, I'm not gonna mouth the words to that whole promo. Just because you shut your eyes doesn't mean it's not happening.
That's better than what I was gonna do. Works perfect.